So guys, in this video we are going to create a program that accepts user input and then puts that input into a hash and then prints back to us the contents of that hash. So we're going to take it a step further with the Ruby object hash that you guys just learned about in the last video. So let's make a new file, touch Ruby hash. We'll just call it 2.rb, and let's go over to our text editor, and let's start making a hash. So we'll call it players hash, and we'll set that equal to an empty hash. And now let's get some user input. And we're going to continue with the baseball player theme that we did before. And we can say name equals gets.chomp. And then we can say puts enter the position of that player. Let's just add a colon space. And we can say position is equal to gets.chomp. Okay, so now that we have our two attributes in the form of strings, because get turns our input into string, let's add these two attributes to our players hash. So we are going to call our players hash, and we are going to pass it the key of name and set name equal to position. So by passing the players hash the parameter of name, we are setting name as the key, and by setting name equal to position, we are setting the name key equal to the value of position. And then we can output that. We can say, let's say players hash dot each do. We can call name position, and we can say, we can use string interpolation to put name, and I'm going to walk you guys through this code in a second. And so what is going to happen here is we are going to take each element of our players hash, and we are going to pass it the key through the block and then the value through the block. So we are then going to take that, and using string interpolation, that's what this is. This allows us to take a string that was a part of a hash or an array and print it back out to the screen. And this will give us the contents of the player and their position. So just to recap one more time, we have our empty hash that we instantiate at the top of our program. We accept user input in the form of a name, and then again in the form of position. And then we add these two values to our players hash by passing players hash the parameter of name and setting name equal to position, and then we print that back out to the screen, we output it back out to the screen by running through the players hash, passing it the name and position, and use string interpolation to print the name and position. And we can make it a little more friendly, say the player you mentioned is alright. Let's see how this how well this works. See if we get any errors or if it runs smoothly. We would say Derek Jeter, and he is a shortstop. Great. So you can now see the contents of that hash. The player you mentioned is Derek Jeter, and he is a shortstop. So if we go back to our text editor, just want to show you guys quickly that you could, if you wanted to enter a few more players, you could just put this through a loop that, we had just talked about a few videos ago. So just for example, if we wanted to go through this 2 times, we can include a loop before we get our content, and then pass it into our hash. And each time it goes through the hash, it'll include it. Each time we instantiate a variable into the hash, it will include it into our empty hash. If we had the player's hash within the loop, if we had it here, it would get overwritten every time, and we would only have one piece of content at the end of the loop. So we can run this again. David Ortiz, designated hitter. Derek Jeter is a shortstop. And there you have it. Now you have a program that accepts 2 different pieces of input, inputs it into a hash, and then outputs back the contents of that hash. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.